Chopper's devil fruit is one of those fruits that just doesn't make any sense to me. Why does Chopper not look completely like a human? How come he's seemingly the only Zoan with multiple forms that aren't just hybrid form and animal form? And would the Rumble Balls work on other Zoans? Well, today, I'm here to maybe provide some answers in the form of a theory. My name is Cryptic D Athena, and this is my Chopper Devil Fruit Theory. The Hito Hito no Mi, or the human fruit, is the fruit used by Tony Chopper. It gives a non-human user the ability to transform into a humanoid creature. This user gains human intelligence, feelings, and capabilities. This allows them to speak human languages, and, if the user is an animal, they will be able to still communicate with other animals. Depending on the age and size of the creature or object that eats the fruit may determine body structure, as Chopper was comparable to a small child when he first ate it. The user also gets the standard 3-stage drone transformation of base, hybrid, and animal. Chopper's brain point is his base form, heavy point is his hybrid form, and walk point is his animal form. What is interesting about the human fruit is that the user does not look completely human. Chopper appears to look more like a mink in brain point or a Sasquatch in his heavy point. This is unlike other Zoans, which very clearly transform their users into their animal completely, depending on the form they take. Perhaps a full-on human transformation relates to his awakening, but I'm jumping the gun here, so let's move on to the Rumble Ball. A very quick note, according to Oda, the human fruit can only be eaten by non-human characters, jokingly stating that if a person ate it, they may become, quote, more human or become enlightened. I'll come back to this in the awakening portion of the video. Before the time skip, the Rumble Ball were a form of steroids that Chopper made so that he could access different forms with his devil fruit. Some make him stronger or faster, while others make him more intelligence or boost his defense. After the time skip, he can now transform freely between all of his transformations, except for Monster Point, in which he needs only one Rumble Ball to use. The time he has to use Monster Point seems to be very short still, but the limit was increased to 30 minutes with the help of Caesar Clown. If he exceeds this time limit, he now transforms into Baby Accuser form, in which Chopper is incredibly small and talks like an old man. I think with this information, it's possible Chopper has access to other forms that he has yet to show off. To end off this section, I believe that the Rumble Balls are not exclusive to the human fruit. They seem to purely be drugs that access different forms, as Chopper is a doctor. It makes sense that he would experiment with different forms of medicine on himself to see how the fruit reacts. Because of this, I believe that if other Zoans ate a Rumble Ball, they too could get access to different transformations. It would probably be in the same vein of making a particular physical or mental trait better, as that's what each of Chopper's transformations do. But I'm unsure if we'll ever get this confirmed or even show off in the theory. So, overall, the human fruit is a very interesting devil fruit that can seemingly only affect animals and objects. It gives the user human intelligence, speech, and the standard Zoan 3-stage transformations. But it can also be manipulated by drugs like the Rumble Ball. The question here is, would any user of this fruit be compelled to make the Rumble Ball, or a drug that does the same thing? Or is that just something only a doctor like Chopper would think of? Well, there has been a long-running theory about devils, or spirits actually inhabiting devil fruits, and they somehow can influence the user. This goes all the way back to Eni's Lobby, when Kaku and Khalifa get their devil fruits. I believe it's explained to them by Jabra that if they ate a devil fruit, and they get near another devil fruit, their body will explode. In basic terms, if a devil fruit user eats 2 devil fruits, they probably will explode or die, although this has never been shown. This rumor was shot down by Bluno, but the theory still remains. Even if the rumor isn't true, there are many spiritual aspects of One Piece, especially now with talks about Sun God Nika. Not only that, but there is a whole category of mythological Zoan devil fruits that turn the user into a mythological figure or creature of some kind. So, many readers could come to the conclusion that there are entities within at least the mythological devil fruits. In that case, let's assume that there are entities in only that category. We can speculate all day about the implications of this, but we're going to leave it as simple as this. There is a mythological being inside of these fruits. They give the user their powers or abilities and potentially can have some influence on the user. Maybe this is seen as that figure's willpower. So, What mythological figure would fit the human fruit? Well, I think it's possible that Chopper's devil fruit is actually the mythical human fruit model Adam, Lilith, or Eve, the first humans to ever walk the earth according to some beliefs. Now, you might be thinking, why would Chopper, out of all the Straw Hats, have a mythical fruit? Or, wasn't the fruit stated to not be a mythical in the first place? Those statements are more than likely right, but think about it for a minute. Why is there a devil fruit that gives someone the powers of a human? Why is there a fruit based on a race? Does that mean there are other race fruits? And if there isn't, why is Chopper's the only one? I mean, come on. Wouldn't it make sense, with all the different mythologies and religious aspects present in One Piece, that there would be a fruit based on probably the most famous first humans myth, let alone the myth being a part of Christianity, which is one of the biggest religions in the world. Although, when it comes to devil fruits based on Christian beliefs, I think many people jump to things like the powers of Jesus, the devil, or God himself. But what if it was as simple as a fruit based on the first humans? We all know the story. Adam is the first man who has a piece of him removed to create Eve. They were placed in the Garden of Eden with two trees in it, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve were ordered by God to live by the tree of life, but Eve was seduced by the devil to eat from the tree of knowledge. From there, she persuaded Adam to do the same act, and in doing so, they were both forced out of Eden, since they defied God. Notably, the two figures of Adam and Eve are actually referenced in One Piece already. The treasure tree Adam and the sunlight tree Eve. We don't know the location of Adam tree, but the Eve tree is located near Fishman Island. However, before Christianity, Lilith was actually Adam's first wife in Hebrew text. She was ordered to be subservient to him by God. However, she did not follow this direction. Because of this, she was actually damned and became the first demon. Another story has her leaving Adam by manifesting wings and flying away. But even earlier than those stories, Lilith actually represented monsters, with her name meaning night creatures or night hag. Perhaps there's another tree in One Piece that relates to her, or a tree that references the tree of knowledge. And perhaps this was the first tree to ever exist, with the human fruit also coming from it. But how is any of this important to the human fruit? Well, as stated before, it's interesting that this is the only fruit that's based on a race that we know of. So it would stand to reason that this is because race fruits are super rare, or because Chopper's fruit is secretly a mythical fruit. And it would make sense that the name of this mythical fruit would be that of Adam, Eve, or Lilith. Each of these figures were eventually influenced by the devil, or in Lilith's case, she became the first demon. And maybe the reason Chopper is the only Zoan user with access to multiple different forms is because he, like these religious figures, was influenced by the devil inside of the fruit. To access these different forms, he had to learn from the entity that had knowledge of such powers, to gain the power of the monster inside of him, so that he could create rumble balls and bite into them just like Adam and Eve, becoming one of the smartest creatures in One Piece. And with that, we move on to his Devil Fruit awakening. Zoan awakenings have been a hot topic of debate in the One Piece community since the introduction of the Demon Guards in Impel Down. They were stated to be awakened Zoan users, and from them, many people have assumed that this is how every Zoan will awaken. The mental state that the guards are in are actually quite similar to Chopper's monster point before the time skip, and they appear to be just as powerful as that form. However, I have always thought this would be a lame awakening for all Zoans. Zoan fruits, in my eyes, have been far weaker than Logia and Paramecia fruits because all the powers you get are basically just physical strength, and most of the innate power of Zoans comes from the type of animal you get. There is not much room for creativity with Zoans normally, and for Oda to make the only reference for Zoan awakenings mindless creatures is wasted potential in my opinion. But I personally believe that at the very least, mythical Zoans will have far more interesting awakening capabilities. And if my theory about the human fruit being based on the first humans is correct, then I think Chopper could have a very interesting and powerful ability yet to be unlocked. His awakening is called the First Man, and it allows Chopper to become the absolute smartest creature in One Piece for a brief period of time. Essentially, he becomes enlightened to such a degree that he gains crazy mental or spiritual capabilities. My initial idea for this awakening was that if the user hadn't unlocked hockey yet, this would be how. At least for observation hockey. If not that, then this form would make the user's hockey grow substantially. Not only that, but Chopper can access any abilities from his Rumble Ball forms. And of course, this awakening makes him look more like or completely human. Perhaps this awakening isn't even combat focused, at least for Chopper. Another idea I had was that this awakening could allow him to figure out how to heal any injury or disease with just a glance at the symptoms or wounds. You could also interpret the First Man as making Chopper the absolute peak of human intelligence, strength, and stamina, and then some in One Piece terms. Basically becoming more powerful than most people in One Piece without a devil fruit. Frankly, this power could go in a variety of different directions, but if it were to ever actually happen, I think Chopper would most likely use it for the intelligence aspect more so than the possible combat implications. Finally, let's end this off with the implications of the existence of a human fruit. As alluded to before, I think the fact that the human fruit exists potentially means that there are other race-based fruits. If the human fruit is not a mythical Zoan, then this would have to be the case. Why else would this fruit exist? Just to be another random fruit? Personally, that doesn't make any sense. Imagine if there was a long-armed tribe fruit or a fishman fruit. Those would be so cool to see. What about a fruit based on an Oars race, or a giant race in general? Would there even be one as terrifying as an Oars or giant race? Surely there would have to be, just to complete the set. Imagine a pirate crew that were all humans who ate different race fruits, and they were on the search for Chopper's fruit, which would surely create some sort of conflict between that crew and the Straw Hats. That would be awesome. Regardless, I think that if other races in One Piece don't have a fruit based on them, then that has to mean the human fruit is secretly a mythical. Heck, maybe the scientists of One Piece consider it a mythical, but it may not have any crazy abilities. I would hope it does though. The human fruit is one of those devil fruits I think about often. Is it really just a random devil fruit, or is it part of a race-based set of fruits? If not that, is it a mythical fruit? With the way that Chopper is portrayed in the story, I don't know where this fruit will go in terms of power, and I kind of doubt we will ever see anything as crazy as my ideas. But what do you guys think? Do you agree or disagree with me? What are your ideas for the human fruit's awakening? Be sure to let me know down in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want, and I hope you enjoyed my drawing. Be sure to follow me on Twitter to see the full picture and all of my drawings that I do for these videos. Thank you all for watching, and have a good day.